But I saw some good swings once again from Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman and how they were continuing the hot start offensively that they have had so far. And look, this season was about finding out if guys like that could work out as everyday, moderate to major contributors for a team that competes for things down the line. And look, if Walker becomes that, right now, I know small sample size, but the highest OPS is on the team at 1269 right now. It's very inflated, I know. But it's all we have to work off of. And then Nolan Gorman, of course, back-to-back games now with a home run for him. These are the guys that we're trying to find out about, and so far the returns are looking pretty good. The Cardinals will see if they continue today as they take on the Mets. Andre Palante first start tonight. That is the Big Show's big deal on this 31st day of March 2026. Give us a call or text here as we look at Brendan from the seats. Once again, joining us from Busch Stadium, where it is considerably less windy. I think I can tell from that.
Yeah, the flags are still moving today, but it was pretty windy yesterday. Hopefully we get a little better luck today. Cardinals are down on the field doing some batting practice type activity, as you can see behind me for the YouTube audience.
Yeah. Wow, I can see that.
Yeah, this afternoon, a little west of St. Louis, there was sporadic rain activity, and so I'm hoping we can avoid that for tonight. But we'll see. This is the least favorite part of spring baseball is the chance for weather, so I'm hoping we avoid that tonight.
Well, there's a lot that needs to be done to avoid those. Mizzou baseball playing a little earlier today to do that, and we'll get coverage started in about 10 minutes on the KTGR app. If you want to hear that, they're taking on Kansas, trying to get revenge from the loss they had a couple weeks ago. So again, KTGR app for the Mizzou baseball coverage coming up in a little bit. But look, Brendan, I know they lost yesterday. Kyle Leahy looked fine. If that's the worst he looks, then maybe things will be pretty good down the line. But the thing is, I look to guys like Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman that just continue to put together really good at-bats. And you needed consistency from those guys. And you need to see it for a full season, obviously, but the returns are looking very good to start at least. So I think that's the main thing that you take away from 4 games. Whatever you can take away from 4 games is that guys that you're wanting to find out about are starting to lean more towards the positive side of whether they're going to be around for the long haul.
Yeah, if you think about Gorman and Walker, 5 and 6 in the Cardinal lineup, we still aren't really sold on the Mason Wynn cleanup thing, but I think the explanation for that has been suitable. They don't have a ton of power throughout this lineup, and Mason Wynn is a guy that in theory is going to put bat to ball and maybe drive in some runs behind those guys at the top of the order that have really strong on-base percentages. But Gorman and Walker could be that sort of power surge as you kind of wave your way toward the tail end of the lineup. Gorman yesterday, the first time for him with homers on back-to-back days or in back-to-back games since June of last year, which he did against the Cubs. So you like to see that. Jordan Walker continues to show, I think, good plate discipline, limiting the strikeouts and, getting on base. So add a little power to that like we've seen from both of those guys. And I think you're right. That's the storyline that obviously I don't think through 4 games can we say, hey, it's fixed. This is who they are now. But you're certainly watching each day to say, hey, can you do it again? Can you do it for another day? And next thing you know, you may look up and they string together a couple of good weeks. That's got to be the hope, I think, if you're the Cardinals.
Well, it's going to come down for Gorman and Walker, but if it only comes down to something like a 790 OPS or a 780, okay, cool. Let's
awesome.
Let's have that around, right? Look, I feel like there's higher upside on Walker though with that. If Walker keeps doing this, I don't know if 1200 OPS is what I'm talking about, but
Aaron Judge,
that's what we're talking about in that area. If he's around the 800s, somehow, some way, I mean, I think it's within him. That's your cleanup hitter, right? That's the problem solved. You don't have to worry about Mason winning that spot anymore. I would think that if this continues for a week, Jordan Walker doing what he's doing and Mason Wynn, unfortunately, doing what he's doing, you probably need to make that switch, don't you? You have to put Walker in.
Look, man, if I am Oliver Marmol and I'm getting this from Jordan Walker right now, I'm not touching a damn thing. You know what I mean? Like, there have been so many ups and downs with Jordan Walker that he's in a good headspace. Let's keep feeding into that. And I think very similarly with Gorman. Does it matter if you're cleanup? Like, obviously, there will be moments in a game where if you have, and moments in a season where if your cleanup hitter has lesser production, that you'll go, oh, man, I wish we had somebody else in that spot. But do we make too much of the lineup stuff sometimes where, like, okay, but then what if you needed in a particular inning your number 6 guy to be the guy that was, capable of hitting for some power, and that's Jordan Walker right now. So I do think there is a sample size that you get to where you consider that, but I don't really think – I could be wrong. Obviously, he could do it tomorrow, and then I would say I was wrong. But I don't think it's heavy on the radar right now for Ollie Marmol. I think in the case of Walker, in the case of Gorman, and really a lot of these guys, whether the numbers are good or bad right now, it's more about the process than it is the stats on the baseball reference page. Like, I really do think that they are leaning in on, let's get a sample size of what it looks for a homestand, and then what it looks like for a road trip. And then we can start to evaluate, the progress these guys are making and hopefully becoming who they're meant to be as players, right? Because I think everybody, when you say, hey, Jordan Walker, what is he as a hitter? Nolan Gorman, who is he as a hitter? We all have a little sentence in mind that we could describe to people and say, well, this is how we kind of view Gorman or Walker. But the idea, I think, for 2026, Andy, is both of those guys kind of leveling up what that description of them would be to kind of get back to what Jordan Walker was as a rookie with a little bit more consistency, right? He had a 787 OPS in 2023. I would smash the button on that if I could for this year. And Gorman was like an 800 that year, if I'm recalling correctly. It might have been 808. So I would smash the button on that as well. But I think you're not necessarily going to ride the highs and lows with where the OPS is at this point of the season. It's hard, but this is the way they're doing it. It's about the process. And if they continue to feel good about the process, over the long haul, the results should remain. I think that's the theory behind it.
Well, it can lead to, I think, those results if this is the process they're following. If this is how they're able to put together those types of numbers, then we can expect that going forward. We'll see what happens with those two. It's not like those two are the main pieces, but it's the main question marks. Like, you kind of know a little more about what Alec Burleson is now. Like, he's kind of shown it. Like, he's a key hitter for this team. Will he be a key hitter for a contending Cardinals team? I would hope so. Like, I would guess today, yeah. Like, that maybe depends on how much they want to try and spend in free agency to upgrade positions and then have stuff around him. So that it's not all on his shoulders and he doesn't have to be the number 3 hitter in the lineup and the biggest source of power from the last couple of years. But I mean, the fact that Weatherholt has started out the way that he has, like, okay, yeah, JJ Weatherholt's going to work out just fine. Ivan Herrera will eventually get there. I don't know if you make anything of his slow start, but I mean, it's just
not really. I'm actually encouraged that he's catching again today. Like, and Ollie's told us this afternoon in his office that they've kind of mapped out the catching rotation through, what do you say, the first game of the Washington series coming up. I guess that's next week. So they've plotted it out and they're kind of, oscillating. They'll get Pozo in there at some point, but between the other two, I just think it's good that there's a plan, and so far so good on that plan. Like, Herrera's coming back the next day and he's not feeling sore in the knee or something that would throw it off trajectory. I think we know what he is as a hitter. And so I would say when it comes to early reads, it's like, well, if the health is strong in the lower body, which it seems to be if he's continuing to catch, then that should lead to the production at the plate that you're looking for. That's how I'm going to look at it, at least for now.
Okay. Hopefully he can win a challenge behind the plate.
Well, they haven't, and the Cardinals haven't challenged as a batter either. Like, it's been a little lean on that front. Ollie was asked this afternoon if that's something that, like, does he feel hitters are a little hesitant, perhaps? And he said, not really. And I think you could just look at 4 games. He said as a staff, they haven't, like, shared this individually with players. It's not like they, as a staff, go back and look at it and say, hey, so-and-so, you should have challenged. I think it's kind of early for that. They're kind of gathering data. And then I think at some point they might look and say, hey, here's an example of maybe what to look for. But they seem to be exercising some caution when it comes to the early season challenges. But I didn't think there's really a hesitance. It's maybe just, hey, it's been 4 games and there haven't been an abundance of calls that, have gone against them in that way at the plate where they feel the need to do that. And as far as behind the plate, I don't know. You use them or lose them, I think, is the attitude. But you obviously want to make sure you've got one available late in the game if there comes to be a key spot in like a high leverage situation. But I don't think it's a huge concern for them right now.
Well, yeah, that's all trivial at the moment. Like, oh, who hasn't won a challenge yet? And I think the Cardinals are the only team to not do it, unfortunately. But.
Yeah, they haven't tried that often, though, and it's been like when they've done it, it's been like, I don't know, you might as well. Like there was a couple of those where you go, it's later in the game, let's just see. And it didn't go their way, but like they didn't lose anything for it. So I think that's fine.
Well, we'll see what happens with tonight's game. Do we think Andre Pallante is going to be fine for this Mets lineup?
Yeah, man. And that's the thing, too, is like with Leahy yesterday, started off pretty good. Faded in the 5th and 6th inning. I don't know, kind of like you would expect a guy who's been a reliever to do. That was the most innings he pitched in a big league game. And so I think more than anything, he can learn from kind of, hey, this is what it looks like, feels like to go through a start and try to build back up to be a 6th inning guy. With Pallante, I think he's efficient enough when he's on to have the longevity to get you deeper into a game, but it's just the effectiveness is going to be a challenge against a team like the Mets. But, he came out in the spring and showed kind of the willingness to take a look and take stock of that kind of self-evaluation process of where things were last year and where they didn't go quite so well and try to implement some better things. He's got a new pitch he's working on and different things like that. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, he's your 5th starter, Andy. So when we talk about expectations for 5th starter in a lineup like the Mets, I think you're just hoping to get you through 5 or 6 and keep you in the game. Leahy pretty nearly did that last night, even though he gave up 4 runs. You hope for maybe a little bit of a sharper version of Pallante as you get into the 5th and 6th, but it's no guarantee. I mean, we could acknowledge he had his struggles last year, so it'll be interesting to see him tonight for the first time.
Yeah, it's kind of I wouldn't say there's pressure. But it kind of is, like, because Hunter Dobbins is looming, and I would think when Hunter Dobbins is healthy, I think he's in this rotation, and so like,
yeah, we'll see. I mean,
I know Pallante is basically the incumbent, and like they've given him the chance and all that, but like, I do think even in a year where you're finding out about guys, and even when like, okay, let people fail, there does still have to be the veil of this. This is still a meritocracy. And if Andre Pallante is not able to finish through 6 most games and can't hold teams underneath 4 runs when he's out there or whatever it is, like we saw a lot of that breakdown towards the end of last year. So like if you're seeing some more of that, you can't. I don't think you can wait around as long for a guy like him who has gotten the chance. Like he's had more of a shot with this organization than some of the other arms that they clearly got for a reason during the trade season. So like I still view him, I mean, a little bit of Leahy, even though Leahy has a bit more of the upside and that's more of the unknown. Pallante was a little more known. And so there's, I think in my mind, a little more pressure on him from that sense.
I think the timing of that will be interesting to see play out because Dobbins is beginning a rehab tonight with Memphis, but it's like he's got 30 days and they very well may use a decent bit of that 30 days in Memphis in order to build him up. And Ollie was asked this afternoon about that, if it's kind of a case where, that's a baseball decision still yet to be made. And very much, I think that's the case. So they'll be evaluating him and as he builds up to, a full starter's workload over a number of starts that he'll have in AAA. But remember, Pallante, I mean, another one of those guys they brought in was Nicky Fitz, and Pallante out-pitched him in spring, right, to earn this spot in the rotation and kind of keep that incumbency alive. So I feel like he's already kind of, stiff-armed some of the competition. Dobbins, though, is the wild card because he wasn't really involved in the competition. He wasn't ready yet, health-wise, coming back from the ACL surgery last July. So, yes, I think that will be like April will be the evaluation period for Palante as they're watching Dobbins, as they're watching Fitz. I guess you're right. The difference in that meritocracy this year compared to last year, the guys that they had waiting in the wings, like a McGreevy, they had a plan for. They were just trying to keep the veteran starters on a certain schedule, and they wanted to kind of parachute him in for certain spots, and they did that to the degree that they wanted to do, I think. And then later in the season, Fetty had to go, so he came in. This year, you have guys with big league experience that will be down there, Richard Fitz and soon Dobbins, to where if you are the 5 in St. Louis and it's not going well over a period of time, I do think there's a little bit more of an urgency at this point to say, okay, let's swap it out because all these guys have options. And so you can kind of keep the carousel going. And don't be surprised if at various points they look at the schedule and they go to that modified 6-man for periods of time as well. It's hard to imagine at this moment because the bullpen is already, we always talk about it, but under some strain. They had a roster move today with Matt Bouchard hitting the injured list and Gordon Graceffa returning to St. Louis from Memphis. But obviously, if you go to a 6-man, you've got one fewer relief option. But yeah, is pressure the right word for Palante? I don't know, but he's being evaluated for sure. And I think the more Dobbins is built up, the more we see from Fitz at AAA, the more that becomes a collision course on, all right, what do we think this looks like after 30 days or so?
So we'll see what Andre Palante looks like in this game, his first start of 2026. And yeah, he'll get more starts to see how it all looks, what that full picture looks like for him. Cardinals take on the Mets. We'll have coverage on KTGR at 5:50. As always, you'll be able to hear our full show still through 6 o'clock on the KTGR app, on Facebook, and on YouTube. So you can check it all out there. Let's talk about the Royals because they had, victorious home opener yesterday. That's always fun. At the K, they debut the shorter fences. The added seats that you get from the shorter fences also was kind of cool to see.
Any homers because of the fence?
Well, I don't think the homers were because of the fence. I think it was because of the wind mainly. There was also some very friendly wind conditions at the K that helped both Isaac Collins and Kyle Isbell to have all the offense for the Royals. But it was enough. It was enough.
Yeah.
It's kind of been first 4 games. I know, small sample size, but we're going to react. Are you trying to feel the wind to see if you're going to
you mentioned it. Wind looks like it could be blowing out a little bit today, so we'll see. I don't know. You mentioned it, so I thought, I'm in a baseball stadium. Let's take a look and do the old finger trick.
Your expert meteorological
That's me.
Capabilities.
It's a big word.
Here's the thing. Royals have been exactly what they were last year through 4 games now. If you allow your opponent to score 3, probably not going to have much of a chance. That's been the case so far. The Royals let the Braves get to, I think, 6 runs a couple of times over the weekend. And then, they shut them down for 1 run Sunday. They shut down the Twins for 1 run yesterday, and they're able to get enough to get the win there. So, if that's what we're going to see out of the Royals, then I'm skeptical that this is going to be a team that contends for the postseason. But here's why I'm encouraged, Brendan. Here's why. The 8-9 guys were the ones that hit homers yesterday. If the bottom of the lineup does a little more, and I believe that the Royals have better options to stick in those spots than they did last year. Clearly, the outfield is better. I think both offensively and defensively. I think you just have a few more pieces that you can roll out there and say, all right, I feel good about maybe somebody down the order stepping up and contributing in a big way. And look, they got that yesterday. And so I'm also not too worried about some other key guys maybe higher in the lineup struggling to start out, because if there are a better baseline of what you're putting out there for your full 9, then it can maybe lift the boat enough for the Royals to where maybe they are still a team that leans on their pitching, but it can be a little bit better down the line.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that pitching holds up, in particular with the bullpen. Estevez obviously has had his issues early, so you're hoping that kind of can be resolved. But I agree when it comes to the outfield, it was very bleak at times last year where you're like, who are they putting out there again? And they're leading them off. What's going on? it just you didn't have the punch and you didn't have the depth to be able to, I think, maximize matchups. And now with that outfield group, they've got a number of guys, some hit left, some hit right. I think those guys could still be stationed in the bottom third of your lineup, but I think it'll be more advantageous when it comes to platoon advantages that they can pick their spots on who to use when and where. And at the end of a season, maybe not all of those guys have 600 plate appearances, but the guys that are a part of that group will fill in where they are, most capable of contributing in a given matchup. And I think over the long haul, the offense will be okay because I'm still looking at, the mainstays to be really good. I think Witt will be good. I think Pasquantino will be good. I think Salvi will be Salvi. And I'm looking for Caglione to take a step forward. So I think when you kind of add that to maybe a more representative bottom of your order, I think they'll be in a good spot as long as the pitching continues to do what we've seen it do for really the last couple of years now.
Yeah, like they need guys like Isaac Collins to make a difference.
I think he will. Yeah.
In all of that. And look, he absolutely did yesterday. And so that way you don't put all of that pressure on maybe some younger hitters that can be the main upside guys. Like it's not even just Caglione. Like clearly they want Carter Jensen to be getting regular at-bats too. So it's about not having to bank everything on those guys getting it done. So like if they have a few more options to work with there, and then also Chris Bubich, who goes 6-1, and the one is a solo homer, it gives up 2 hits. Like, look, if Chris Bubich is back, then that turn this all the way up for the Royals. Like they have an elite pitching rotation once again. But yeah, I was just encouraged by that. And it also just looked fun at the K once again. Like I want to see that stadium get filled up for 5 more years
it's a fun place.
Pick a new place to go.
They should keep it. I like the K. It's a fun place.
They're not going to keep it though.
They should.
I know they should. The owner said they're not, though. He basically confirmed that.
What does he know?
I don't know. I don't know what John Sherman knows. I would like to know what John Sherman knows, though. That would tell us a lot of info about where the Royals are going to be. 875 KTGR. Give us your Royals thoughts as well here on the big show as we continue on. We're going to talk about Carlos Estevez's injury. He got hit by a comebacker over the weekend and still trying to recover from that. How will that affect his ability to contribute on the back end of the Royals bullpen? And we're going to ask the injury expert, Will Carroll, as well, his thoughts on Kylian Mbappe and the Real Madrid medical team scanning the wrong knee. How does it happen? Will Carroll will explain next.
This the latest edition of The Big Show. Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great.
Hypnosis only $59.99. Thursday, April 23rd at the Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. Or Saturday, April 25th at the Courtyard by Marriott in Columbia. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
When it comes to tree care, knowledge matters. And Advanced Tree Solutions doesn't just cut, they care. Educate, communicate, and protect the health of your trees. Whether for homeowners associations, golf courses, apartment complexes, you name it. And it's one less thing to worry about. With expert service and yearly discounts, your business and your trees are in good hands. Call Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions today. Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
Hi, it's Hillian Hart. This December, let's make some Christmas magic together in Europe.
Join us December 6th through the 14th for Colette's European Christmas Markets Tour.
We're heading to Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest.
Think holiday shopping, amazing food, and that once-in-a-lifetime Christmas feeling everywhere you go.
And since Colette takes care of the flights, hotels, meals, and local experiences,
you can focus on having fun.
Get the full trip details now. Go to 943kat.com.
My name is Josh. I am an exterior project specialist with True Sun Exteriors and Interiors. If you are living in an aging home, you may start noticing items around your home that need repair or replacement. For example, your roof shingles blowing off, roof leak pop up over time. If you're in an aging home and you look at your windows, you may start to see fogging up between the glass so you can't quite get it clean, or sashes that don't quite open just right and don't lock just right. With something like siding, you're going to notice that your paint is fading, and that may be signs it's getting old. Maybe the vinyl siding on your home is brittle. And finally, if you have a deck, this is a common item of failure. Your stairs start to get a little wobbly and feel unsafe. If you notice any of these things happening to your home, give us a call and we'll let you know whether it be repair or replacement. We're going to take care of you.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com. My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. One of our early claims we had to make, unfortunately, was from a hailstorm. And as soon as that first hail hit our house, I texted Phyllis and I said, oh boy, we're in trouble. Phyllis walked us through everything, made everything very seamless. Phyllis made it so easy. Her team followed up, checked in, and really went to bat for us. When things weren't moving properly, she would make sure that everything was accounted for, and she really just did an above and beyond job for us and everyone we referred her to.
When you have a great product, it's not hard to sell, and no one has a better product than Fuse 32. When you're a part of our sales force, our creative team makes your job a lot simpler, like selling a fully loaded SUV with TVs in the back for the young family and a third row because they're expecting more. It's a win-win, and everyone's happy. You'll have total confidence in yourself, the team alongside you, and what you offer to clients. Apply now at Fuse32.com. Fuse 32. There's nothing we can't do.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
Back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Baseball season underway as the injuries now start to also climb into the picture as well. And we'll see how much the Cardinals and Royals can avoid them this year. But we have the injury expert, Will Carroll, to talk about all things injuries now. You can find his newsletter at undertheknife.substack.com for great insider info on Major League Baseball injuries, and also his podcast, Injury Territory, wherever you get your podcasts. And so, Will, we haven't seen any on-field injuries yet for the Cardinals affect them through the first 4 games, which is good to see. We did see before the year when they set their roster, they did go ahead and put Lars Nootbaar on the 60-day IL. We're maybe wondering between maybe the 10-day or the 60-day, but they do open up the 40-man roster spot, presumably so that J.J. Weatherholt could take it. How do you kind of see that with Lars Nootbaar's situation? Again, they are basically banking on it not happening anytime soon, him being back on the field.
Yeah, it was close. It was one of those where it's like if he could have been back in 30 days, did that make sense to not open up that roster spot? Would it really have been Weatherholt? I don't know. I think they were taking a look at that and the value of that extra year, or maybe him being the rookie of the year and getting the bonus pick. There's so many permutations of it, but I think this works out. You have to make that value decision. That's why Chaim Bloom and the boys make the big bucks. They have to make those tough decisions on exactly how many days is worth buying back if you do hold him off and just put him on the 10-day. So Nootbaar is making good progress. It's just it wasn't quite there. It wasn't involved surgery. People think this is just bone spurs. It was actually an actual deformity that he's been dealing with for a while that got to a point where he had to have this on both sides. So hopefully it won't be a problem for him any further.
Yeah, we'll hopefully see him as soon as he possibly can be. Now that he's on the 60-day, they'll take as much time as possible to get that situated. Now, when it comes to the Royals, they did have a bit of injury issue over the weekend with Carlos Estevez taking a comebacker on the mound during his relief appearance. He wasn't a walking boot for a little bit, but it was more precautionary. They maybe said that he could be available in some lower leverage spots, but how do you kind of see the Carlos Estevez injury and how it might affect him?
Yeah, it's as simple as it came back and hit him on the point of the ankle. If you've ever been kicked there, or if you've ever knocked it against a table, you know how much that can hurt. But this was 100-mile-an-hour baseball coming back at him. And we had a couple of these. Mason Flaharty, a reliever with the Blue Jays, got hit not once, but twice, had to come out. So, I laugh because this is one that drives me a little bit crazy. The pitchers are out there roughly 45, 50 feet away from the ball coming back at them 100 miles an hour. And when it's just an ankle, when it's just a nasty bruise, when Flaharty gets hit pretty much in the butt, you can laugh at it. But, man, it reminds you just how much it could be worse. A couple inches higher, it breaks his leg. 6 feet higher, it hits him in the head, and who knows what can happen with that. We've had some scary ones, so I wish pitchers would protect themselves more, but they don't. It's baseball, and for Chavez, he got a little bit lucky. He's hobbling. He'll be back, and he'll be fine very soon.
Injury expert Will Carroll here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. And we talk, obviously, about pitchers needing to protect themselves. And sometimes when they have to field their position, they do have to be careful to do so. But an unfortunate situation that happened in Toronto with Cody Ponce, one of their newer acquisitions, kind of a great story. Had been out of the big leagues for a while, was pitching in Japan and Korea, then gets a chance with the Blue Jays once again. But he's fielding a ground ball to his left side, and then he buckles the knee and he is carted off the field. How do you kind of see the situation for one Cody Ponce for the Blue Jays in his first start back in the big leagues, but now having a major setback, it seems?
Yeah, it was such a good story. And he was really a big part of what the Jays hope to be this season. And early in the season, man, it seems like all the pitching injuries have gone north of the border. Ponce is down. That looked for all the world like a classic ACL sprain. If it is as feared, he'll have to have it reconstructed and be out for the rest of the season. You do come back from that, but that doesn't help the Blue Jays now, who are also lacking Shane Bieber. They don't have Trey Savage, who's going to be throwing a sim game on Friday, but they're down. I mean, Bowden Francis had Tommy John, so they're down to their 7 and 8. They're going to have to call somebody up from Buffalo. It's just a tough situation for them. They signed Max Scherzer as depth because they were worried about how Bieber could actually go this season. And instead, he's the number 3 right now. So it's just a tough situation. It's unfortunate. I say it can't really be prevented. It's one of those quirky things. There are ACL prevention programs that do work, but this is one of those one bad step things. Ends a great story for Cody Ponce.
Injury expert Will Carroll here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. To some other injuries around the league, Will, we've often talked about Jacob deGrom on this program in this type of setting. Unfortunately for him, such a great pitcher, but so many injury concerns. Was originally scratched from a start this past weekend with a neck injury, but it looks like he is going to debut tonight against the Orioles. How do you kind of see his situation as they try to manage his health?
This is one where if it's not Jacob deGrom, this is a different story. And it's actually a really interesting story behind the scenes. I'll have more on this in Under the Knife. deGrom basically woke up with a stiff neck. Many of us have had this. It's annoying, but we're not going out there throwing it nearly 100 miles an hour. deGrom, his history is well known. He's so good when he's healthy. He's just not healthy enough. He's come back from a number of injuries. And now, why risk it is the answer. But the more is that he did go down and throw in the bullpen. And there's a tool called a Kinetrax. It's a multi-camera motion capture system. It does a ton of things that just simply aren't able to be done. The Hawkeye cameras are great, but the Kinetrax, which was just bought by Sony, the owners of Hawkeye, is a little more fine-tuned for pitching. And they looked at, on the first pitch, they saw that deGrom in the bullpen wasn't the same. He was a little out of whack mechanically because of the neck. So it wasn't the why risk it, shrug your shoulders and guess. They knew he was a little bit off. So it's better to wait a couple days, to throw him later, essentially skipping his turn. But this, in the long term, you have to hope this pays off for the Rangers and for deGrom.
Do most MLB teams have that video technology now, or is it just kind of being introduced still?
Well, all the stadiums and down into the minor leagues, I think it's down into AA this year, all of them have the Sony Hawkeye cameras. The Kinetrax is a little more, it's not in 100% of the stadiums. A lot of them use it in the bullpen. A lot of them use it at like their pitching lab or at their spring training facility. A number of teams have multiple units of that. This one was actually in the bullpen. The Rangers have done a lot with technology. I do have to say, full disclosure, I have a relationship with Kinetrax. They actually sponsored a talk of mine. So I'm saying good things about them because I believe them, not because they paid me.
There you go. So, but it'll be interesting to see how it even more develops in most other MLB stadiums here soon. But that's interesting how they spotted it with the Grom there and decided from that they would go ahead and give him an extra few days or so. Another guy that's on his way back, Zach Wheeler, made a rehab start not too long ago, and it looks like very early on in this next month of April that they will probably have him debut for this year with the Phillies, coming back from obviously a blood clot from late last year. How do you kind of see his situation now, Will?
Yeah. It was a great start for him. 37 pitches. The Iron Pigs, because he had the rib removed as part of that thoracic outlet syndrome surgery. The Iron Pigs did the minor league thing and had an all-you-can-eat ribs day. I thought that was great. Wheeler got a good laugh out of it. But he looked good. He's going to have 2 more starts. Everything looks like he'll be back right at near the minimum for him. But the interesting thing here is, okay, he goes out, he throws 37 pitches against AAA kids. I guess they're probably not kids there, but, it's not for the Phillies. He's not helping the Phillies. They've got 5 good starters, but he's better. Let's face it, he is their ace. So why does he have to go to 60, 70 pitches, which is what the target is for his 3rd start? Why are they missing 3 starts? Can they really not find a way to take Zach Wheeler throwing at 90%, 95%? He looked pretty close to 100 to me. Why can't they use him as an opener? Why do they have to do these rehab starts? I've been banging this drum for a while now, but starts like this just drive me nuts.
It's fascinating how teams decide to treat it, but we'll see how they continue to do it with Zach Wheeler here in the next few weeks. Will, let's step away from baseball a little bit and actually ask about soccer, to a story that I had to read a few times over to make sure it wasn't AI. Seriously, Kylian Mbappe had a knee injury around early December last year. They scanned it and they said it was good. And so he kept playing, but it turned out they scanned the wrong knee. That knee was good. It wasn't the injured knee that they scanned. And so he didn't know that he was playing on an inflamed knee for a few more games. And then they go back in and they say, oh, yeah, there's something wrong with that. They must have scanned the wrong knee. Will, how? Yeah. How does this happen?
It does happen a lot. This is simply somebody doing a job and reading it wrong, looking, if you look at somebody standing there, you point to your left, it's his right. This does happen. Or, you're having a bad day. You put the wrong order in. You hit right instead of left. I know surgeons to this day, and Jim Andrews was one of them, who would go in and with marker sign his name on the leg or the arm or wherever he was operating. He would sign his name on there while the patient was awake. And people thought, that's kind of an ego. Why is he giving me an autograph? No. That was the leg he was cutting. I've seen surgeons that write, not this leg, no, put big X's on the other leg to make sure it doesn't happen. It is just one of those things. You do not want it to happen. We always hear about those scary cases where somebody, amputates the wrong leg, takes out the good kidney. But this is one of those things that, unfortunately, Kylian Mbappe might be a world-class player and getting world-class care, but you can get mistakes as easily for him. It just costs a lot more in terms of time he's lost. And with the World Cup coming up, he's obviously going to be a big part of that for France.
That's the wild part, is that it happened right before all of that comes up here this summer. So luckily he's been working his way back onto the field and coming off the bench a little bit, and we'll see how he progresses through that. Will, what's new at Under the Knife and injury territory?
Tons of stuff. We've got a great interview today with a guy kind of in your neighborhood. He's at one of the St. Louis suburbs, and he's doing a thing called blood flow restriction and seeing amazing results with that. It's Dr. Tyler White from Invictus. We're also going to talk about the Cody Ponce injury and why pitchers maybe shouldn't field. So check out Injury Territory. That'll be coming out later today.
Yep, wherever you get your podcasts, and also Will Carroll's newsletter, undertheknife.substack.com, to read insider info several times every week for Major League Baseball. Great info to have from Will Carroll, the injury expert, here on the Big Show, KTGR, and the KTGR app. Thanks for coming on, Will, as always. Hope you're well. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Big Show's on at 444, KTGR and the KTGR app. Unbelievable. I mean, it again does happen in some other settings, like not just to Kylian Mbappe, but maybe some more even unfortunate situations in actual surgeries where they operate on a knee that doesn't need to be operated on or anything like that. At least this was just a scan, but still not great for Kylian Mbappe that he had to play on the injured knee when he didn't necessarily know what was wrong with it at the time. At least it didn't hinder him too much, and he should be on his way back to full health once the World Cup comes this year. Under the Bus is next. Tiger Woods. I mean, let's not do this while we're driving. That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Underway now, Mizzou baseball taking on Kansas. Updated start time so that they could avoid inclement weather later on this evening, being played at Taylor Stadium. Right now, a 2-0 lead for Kansas in the bottom of the first inning. You can hear coverage underway right now on the KTGR app. In just a little bit, Mizzou softball will begin their game on the road at Missouri State in Springfield. Tiger softball has won 12 of their last 14 games, trying to get to 2 games above 500 with a win in Springfield. Cardinals yesterday lost to the Mets 4-2. Kyle Leahy in his first start, 5 innings and 4 runs allowed. Nolan Gorman had a home run, his second straight game with 1, as the Cardinals are 2-2 to start the season. They will take on the Mets once again at 6:45. You can hear it on KTGR. Royals tonight are off after defeating the Twins 3-1 in their home opener yesterday. They'll play the Twins tomorrow and Thursday to finish the series. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with the Boone County Office of Emergency Management, reminding you to be Boone County ready, make a plan, stay informed, and sign up for Smart 911 emergency alerts. Ready.boonemo.org.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking mostly cloudy skies and a chance for scattered showers and storms this evening. Some of those could bring small hail, especially late this evening. Temperatures tomorrow morning starting out in the mid-50s. We'll have isolated scattered showers and storms possible throughout the day with highs in the 70s. And then we're going to see more widespread rain and storms by tomorrow night. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
On Simmons Field, swinging a ground ball, hit past third and the left. That's a base hit. And across the SEC, fastball, swing and a miss. He struck him out. The Tigers are ready to roar. There it goes, long drive, deep right field. That is gone. This is your radio home for Mizzou baseball. The Tigers win this one in a walk-off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Lose weight or stop smoking with Hypnosis, guaranteed, or your money back, only $59.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also, stop smoking with Hypnosis. No matter how many times you try to quit, this Hypnosis is designed to destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Hypnosis, Thursday, April 23rd, Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City. Weight loss Hypnosis, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking Hypnosis, 8 p.m. Or Saturday, April 25th at the Courtyard by Marriott in Columbia. Weight loss Hypnosis, 11 a.m. Stop smoking Hypnosis, 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
You could be right in the middle of celebrating a big win, and all of a sudden, bang, you've got ants on the counter or mice in the garage. Hi, I'm Mike Kelly. As someone who's called buzzer beaters and game winners for 3 decades, I think the best call that you can make is to Steve's Pest Control. I'm on the road a lot during the season, which is why I've signed up for Steve's 5-star pest control program. It's comforting to know that even when I'm not home, Steve's Pest Control is protecting my house from termites and other pests. Plus, the 5-star program keeps the pests at bay, controlling and eliminating them before they have a chance to enter your home. Scheduling is incredibly easy. You don't even have to be home. And if a pest problem pops up at any time, Steve's will perform a retreat for no additional charge. Call Steve's Pest Control today and ask about their 5-star pest control program so you can kick back, relax, and enjoy the game.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
What happens when a chef, 2 pharmacists, and a financial analyst walk into a bar? They buy it. And then they tell people from all walks of life to come enjoy it with them. Big flavors, bigger burgers, local brews, handcrafted drinks, and a game of pool or two. See, billiards was built by people like you. A teacher, a receptionist, and a cashier walk into billiards. What happens next is up to you.
Looking on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
Call your shot at billiardsonbroadway.com. Nobody wants to be picked last or finish last in the standings. Last strike of the last inning? Nope. And you never want to be the last one finishing your laps at practice. So when baseball and softball season get here, don't wait until the last minute to gear up either. Head to Play It Again Sports in Columbia. They've got everything your athlete needs for the upcoming baseball and softball seasons. Plus, gently used equipment too. Play It Again Sports. Think of them first so you don't finish last. PlayItAgainSportsColumbiaMo.com.
The best thing about spring is that there's no single best thing about spring. It's all good. Golfing, peeing off the deck. Grilling, peeing off the deck. You can do everything outside again.
Peeing off the deck.
Practice your aim at cornhole and peeing off your crutch's deck. You don't want to hit those railing posts. All the beauty and fun of spring just go better with Crutch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside. See what they can do for you at CrutchesCustomExteriors.com.
Do people tell you that you've got a great voice for radio? Do you love Callaway County sports? Then we've got the perfect position for you. Zimmer Communications is looking for their next high school sports play-by-play announcer. You'll be the primary voice for football and basketball, telling the stories of the next generation of Hornets, Bulldogs, and Thunderbirds All-Stars. Think you've got the chops? Apply now at ZimmerCommunications.com and tell us why you deserve to be the next voice for Callaway County high school sports.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Look, man, I don't know why it keeps happening this way, but Tiger Woods, let's maybe have someone else drive him. Obviously over the weekend, right before our show on Friday, in fact, glad that he's okay, of course, from a car crash that he suffered in, I believe, Jupiter, Florida. Was arrested for DUI, and the news coming out today through the reports, or at least what he told investigators, was that he was looking at his phone and changing the radio station, which is what caused him to not see the truck that wasn't slowing down in front of him. Come on. First of all, don't be under the influence and drive. That's rule number one. That can obviously cause you to be a little more distracted or slow to react behind the wheel. So when he was distracted, it was slow for him to react, and well, this is the result. And of course, very happy that there were no serious injuries from this situation. But man, I don't know how many times it needs to happen before you learn the lesson, of course. And Tiger does know better, I would hope, but it's just really hard to see for a golfer that throughout my whole sports viewing life, a golfer that I've admired on the course. It's just hard to see this off the course stuff. So Yeah, man, I don't know what the solution is. I don't think we can plan to see him at the Masters. At least I wouldn't think so. Maybe if he's healthy enough, they'll still let him do it. But I don't know. Legal system's going to have to prevail there. We'll see. Also under the bus to Roger Ayers, who was the referee that Dan Hurley got right in the face of after the game-winning shot by Braden Mullins in the Elite Eight game. Ayers, who is a long-time official, has worked many Final Fours, been around the game a long time, consummate vet in that industry. He's not working the Final Four this weekend. I don't know if that was already the plan, but it's interesting because he's in that moment with Dan Hurley, who gets right in his face, makes contact with his forehead, basically headbutts him right in that moment, and does not get a technical foul, and probably should have gotten a technical foul for that. So Roger Ayers not calling it there. Like, it's not just the calls that you make that are wrong. It's also the ones that you don't make that would have been right, but you don't make them, and so it makes it wrong. So that is ultimately what it looks like is leaving Roger Ayers out of the Final Four. I think in any other circumstance, he probably would be working the Final Four, but he isn't. And I think we point to that little spot right there for a guy who I guess was reportedly like according to some of the accounts, like Seth Greenberg's come to the defense of it. Seth Davis has come to the defense of it. Like, say, oh, they're buddy. It was a little like, it was joking. It was half joking. Okay, but Dan Hurley shouldn't have done that. And the referee should have known that he's not supposed to do that, even if he's his buddy. So you got to call a technical foul there. Now, I'm not trying to cape for Duke, obviously. Not like the radio announcer who right after the game-winning shot, literally 2 seconds afterwards, he's pointing out that one of the Duke players or UConn players was running onto the court and said, that's me a technical. But he didn't see that moment from Dan Hurley there, which absolutely should have been a technical that the referee did not call. And so Roger Ayers goes under, and the NCAA kind of making that the case too, because he's, not working the Final Four this weekend, when I think in any other case he would be. Well, Mizzou gets a nice billboard for their men's basketball program during the McDonald's All-American game when they have 2 players in it, and that's what they'll get tonight with Jason Crowe Jr. and Toni Bryant playing on opposite sides for this game for the 2 teams. And that'll be at 8 o'clock tonight from Glendale, Arizona. So we'll see both of them. They both got to showcase their skills last night during the skills competition. Toni Bryant had a pretty impressive dunk over 2 7-foot twins to dunk it home for a Jordan-esque type of dunk from around the free throw line area. So that was pretty cool to see. And then Jason Crowe Jr. won the 3-point contest on the men's side. When he went up against the female competitor, he ended up losing out there. But still a great showing from Jason Crowe Jr. And we'll see both of them tonight in the McDonald's All-American game. Now, look, big reason why there's a whole lot of excitement, or at least expectation, for next year's Mizzou men's basketball team. But what should the reasonable expectations be for those 2 guys, Jason Crowe and Toni Bryant, in that game? We'll discuss that coming up here on the Big Show. Brandon will be back to join us for that live from Busch Stadium as he gets ready for Cardinals Mets tonight. We're also going to talk about the early impressions of ABS across Major League Baseball through 5 days of it, essentially. What do we like the most about it? Is there anything unintended that we don't like about it? What are your early impressions of the automatic balls and strikes challenge system in ABS? We'll talk about that at 5:25, and we'll preview the NCAA Gymnastics Championships with Mizzou Gymnastics coach Shannon Welker as they start on Friday. He'll join us at 5:45.
lose weight, or stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.99 guaranteed or your money back. Stop smoking without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. That's right. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. Also, lose all the weight and let Mark Patrick Hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings. Hypnosis Thursday, April 23rd, Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. or Saturday, April 25th at the Courtyard by Marriott in Columbia. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Brian Ware Plumbing and Restoration has answered a lot of your calls over the years, and you've helped him grow his business immensely. So he wanted to take a second to say thank you. Oof, that was pretty emotional. We couldn't have said it better ourselves. So keep calling Brian to unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
Lee's Tire Company has been around longer than the internet, longer than the Happy Meal, and since before Star Wars hit the big screen. For 55 years, they've been family-owned right here in our community, fixing flats, solving problems, and doing honest work to get you back on the road. So while you might not be able to pick your family, you can pick your tire place. And once you pick Lee's Tire Company, you'll join their family forever.
Lee's Tire Company is round for you. Ooh, see Lee's.
The nominations are in. Now it's time to pick the winners. Now through April 12th, you'll decide the winners for Inside Columbia Magazine's Best of Columbia 2026. Vote up to once per day for the businesses and places you love, including Best Salon, Best Place to Buy a Car, Best Sushi, or Best Chiropractic Office. You can vote once per day, so come back and support the businesses you love most. Best of Columbia 2026 starts with you. Vote now through April 12th for your favorites at InsideColumbia.net.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
I'm Christine Lisi. 15-time major golf champion Tiger Woods pleaded not guilty in his DUI case in Florida hours after a sheriff's report said he had pain pills in his pocket and showed signs of impairment at the scene of last week's crash. Woods also waived his appearance during next month's arraignment hearing. Amid the will they or won't they debate regarding the Eagles' potential trade of A.J. Brown, the coach of a top suitor for the veteran receiver commented on the matter at the NFL annual meeting today. New England's Mike Vrabel said the Patriots will try to do everything they can to strengthen their roster. He and Brown do have a connection from their Titans days, notes ESPN NFL front office insider Mike Tannenbaum.
A.J. Brown had a ton of success with Mike Vrabel in Tennessee. New England needs a frontline receiver. They're in a win-now mode with a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract. So to me, that could make sense as well. So I think this story has a long way to go before we really know how it ends.
NFL owners approved an extensive contingency plan to centralize officiating in the event of a work stoppage as negotiations continue on a labor deal with the NFL Referees Association.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
From Faro. 15 to the 10, to the house. Bush. Back to the wall, and it's got her. And Arrowhead. Touchdown! Kansas City! To your speakers. This is the big show, baby. Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is the Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Well, we got more to talk about on the baseball side. Do you like ABS so far? I think it's made it so much more fun. We're going to talk about it here in just a little bit at 5:25. But we're going to talk about two future Mizzou basketball players that you're going to see on the floor tonight in Glendale, Arizona in the McDonald's All-American game, Jason Crowe Jr. and Toni Bryant. It's pretty cool to have two guys that are committed to your school playing in that type of game, featuring the highest-powered basketball recruits for the upcoming year. So what are the reasonable expectations for those guys when they hit the Mizzou Arena floor coming up next season? We'll get to that. We'll get to Shannon Welker of Mizzou Gymnastics. He'll join us to preview his team as they prepare for the NCAA Regionals. They'll be in Lexington this weekend, starting competition on Friday. Shannon Welker will join us at 5:45. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Not great from Kyle Leahy, but started well, and we'll see how that develops going forward for him for the Cardinals. They lost 4-2 yesterday to the Mets, but you still see some encouraging signs, certainly from Nolan, Gorman, and Jordan Walker. You need to find out about those guys offensively, whether they can help you in future years, and so far so good. The returns have been very good for both of those guys offensively, both with OPS is over 1,000 through 4 games, small sample size, but hey, longer that continues, longer you might find out about whether they can help you down the line. Going to be Andre Palante tonight. First start for him in 2026. I think this is a big month for him. But we'll see how he does against this Mets lineup. You'll hear it on KTGR coverage beginning at 5:50 on the radio. You can hear our full show on the KTGR app and on Facebook and YouTube.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Stereotypical Royals from the last year plus. They win 3-1 yesterday off the back of Chris Bubich going 6-1, only allowing the solo homer, just 2 hits in total. And the Royals got 2 homers from Kyle Isbell and Isaac Collins, and that was all the scoring that they needed to win against the Twins. I think they need to generate a little more offense down the line in order to be more sustainable. But I'm encouraged that the bottom of the lineup was doing it yesterday to maybe make that more possible. They'll be off today. Twins, and they'll finish out that series with the Twins tomorrow and on Thursday.
Number 3.
We're going to see Jason Crowe Jr. and Toni Bryant in the McDonald's All-American game tonight in Glendale, Arizona at 8 o'clock. They'll be on opposite teams, but in a few short months, they'll be on the same team. What do we expect out of these 2 5-star recruits for Mizzou men's basketball? We'll discuss very soon.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it. And on the women's basketball side, we learned of the first couple of roster notes for the offseason earlier today. Mizzou is keeping its top scorer from last year, Grace Slaughter, going to finish out her career as a Tiger, the Grain Valley, Missouri native, and that pretty much expected, as she will stick around at Mizzou. But probably their second best scorer, their second leading scorer, Shannon Dowell, who was a transfer from Illinois State, she is entering the transfer portal to use her final year of eligibility somewhere else. So that is a loss that the Tigers are going to have to replace in the portal. We'll see how Kelly Harper decides to do so, and what will be an important year to take another step in year 2.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
Oh boy, Richard Chaffetz just joined the Trailblazers ownership group. Can I read too much into this, please?
That's The Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. Richard Chaffetz, bigwig around the St. Louis area, joins an ownership group for an NBA organization that may or may not be where they're located in about 10 years or so. Brendan, what do you think? Maybe, please, maybe. Come on.
I am not getting my hopes up for any of that, but if there's some smoke to it down the road, I'll welcome that. That would be a lot of fun.
All right. We'll just wait and see.
I do need the NBA to improve as a product to really buy in like I'd want to, but who am I kidding? Like, if we had an NBA team, I'd be all about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would be all about it. No doubt.
They'll make it work. Between Enterprise Center shifting back and forth, they'll make it work. They'll know how. But just a fun way to overreact to what is a very small bit of news and probably means nothing. But hey, you never know. Just put your tentacles in, Richard Chaffetz and the rest of the group, and we'll see how it all shakes out. Who knows?
It'd be fun. There's no doubt about that.
It needs to come to Kansas City. I know that much. Bring them back. If they both had NBA teams, then we'd be all about it. But
can I trade the 2 hypothetical NBA teams for 1 football team, or is that ship kind of sailed?
Well, enjoy it while it lasts.
What does that mean?
Well, 5 more years of the Chiefs being in
Oh, right. Yeah.
In Missouri, but hasn't happened yet. But we'll see. A little bit of Chiefs news, we'll throw out. That's Clark Hunt basically said, we're probably not going to be playing against the Seahawks for their, they play, since they're the Super Bowl champion, they play on the Thursday. I think this year it's the Wednesday, though, because they're making the Australia game be technically Thursday. So they're making Seattle do Wednesday. Whatever.
So he doesn't think the Chiefs are playing? Is that his report?
He doesn't think the Chiefs are playing because he doesn't believe that the league will play with the fact that will Patrick Mahomes be ready for that? Will he not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, this is how they get out of it, because every year they're playing on these obscure days and the league just tells them to jump through all these hoops, but they can totally lean in and go, Patrick might need those extra 3 or 4 days. So you might maybe you just kind of leave us on Sunday night or something like that,
Oh my God.
Let us play on Monday.
I'd love to be just the normal Sunday at noon. Can we just go back to that, please?
Nope.
Come on.
Well, you know what? If we do find out that Justin Fields is going to be starting that day, you might get Sunday at noon, actually, for that one.
Gosh, that'd be something else, but we shall see. NFL schedule, I don't know when it comes out.
Who cares?
It'll be after the draft, but the draft's not for another month. We'll see. 875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text with your thoughts on any of that. But we also want your thoughts on the 2 players that will be on the court tonight in the McDonald's All-American game, Jason Crowe Jr. and Toni Bryant, both going to be Mizzou Tigers. Both are 5-star recruits. This is about as well as it's been set up for a high school class in quite a while in Columbia. And so we rocket the expectations up. But should we? That's the unreasonable way to do it, most likely. What's the reasonable thing to expect out of Jason Crowe Jr. and Toni Bryant in what will probably be the only year that Jason Crowe is here? You can maybe see Toni Bryant. We'll see. But yeah, what do we reasonably expect?
Well, the last time, I know they weren't 5 stars, but those guys from the class a few years ago, you had 5 of them that were 4 stars, and it's been very gradual to see the development of some of these players. Remaining is Trent Burns and T.O. Barrett, 2 players that we want to buy in on and believe in, but I also feel like we have our frustrations with, the way that development has gone, or just we're rushing it, right? We want to see it right now. And it's been a couple of years in college basketball for both of those guys. So the reasonable thing is to probably not expect this recruiting class to come in and have the ability to immediately take over the roster and be centerpieces of it. It kind of feels like that's what people want, though, from Crowe in particular, where it's just top 5 player in the country, whatever it is on the various rankings, go be great and be that one and done that Michael Porter was supposed to be, but he didn't hardly play because of the injury. So yeah, is it crazy to say the reasonable expectation is to just do what we thought Michael Porter was going to do and go be a star in the 1 year that you're here? Go be Darius Acuff. That's what I want from Jason Crowe. Go be Acuff.
That was it. Was going to bring him up because guess who was number 5? Jason Crowe is number 5 in the country in the individual recruiting rankings, according to 24/7 Sports. Who was number 5 the year before? Darius Acuff. It's right there. The comparison can be made. This is the type of cloth that he is cut from, at least, or what the rankings builders say that he's going to end up as. If you want to go back even the next year, who was number 5 in the 2024 class? VJ Edgecombe, who's in the NBA now and is a great player.
I would take that outcome as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what you can expect. Jason Crowe, you can have expectations of, well, he can start out as I don't know if he'll be named it, like, I don't know how many freshmen they really named to preseason All-American lists.
Right.
Like, they probably just reserved that for the top 2 recruits. Like, Cooper Flagg probably was named one. But, like, that is the goal. And I think it's a reasonable goal to set for a guy like him. Like, he can be one of the best players in college basketball. And, like, it's not to say that he absolutely will, but it is a fair place to kind of put in range for a guy like him.
And maybe that's not a fair or reasonable expectation, but I think it's a very reasonable ask. Like, that's what I'm asking him to be if I'm Mizzou basketball. An expectation is he has to be their best player next year, and it has to not be in question, right? Like, if that's the case, you match up with the billing. Darius Acuff was certainly that for Arkansas. If we're talking during the season and saying, he's one of their top options, maybe I'm wrong, but that would be like a disappointment relative to how often are we reaching into this tier of a player in terms of these recruiting rankings? Not very often. It's Michael Porter Jr. And we all know how that went. It was physical. It was injury, not because he wasn't the one who was promised. Look at his NBA career. He's been very, very good. He was that guy. We just didn't get him for a year that he was healthy. I think in the case of Crowe Jr., yeah, he has to be the best player on the team, unquestioned, from day one. I don't want, if we're doing the big show, whatever it would be, 9 months from now, 8 months from now, talking about, slow start for Jason Crowe, it's okay, give him time. I'll be like, not really. Like, to be getting out of him what we're hoping to see, I hope from day one it looks like he's the best player on the team. If he's not, like, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, that's my expectation. When you're ranked at this spot, that's what I'm hoping to see.
I mean, I wouldn't mind Dennis Gates getting a transfer that's better. Like, I wouldn't mind it. Like, I wouldn't,
okay.
I think it's not to say you shouldn't go out and find a guy that becomes a better player than Jason Crowe. Like,
that's a good point. I don't have a rebuttal.
It's not like, if Crowe is still an A-cuff type, but you get a player that's better, okay, sure. I will not stop you. Like, you can have that 1-2 punch if you really want. I don't know who that player is. I don't predict that Mizzou will get that player. I will, again, I will predict, as you are, Brendan, that Jason Crowe is Mizzou's best player next year. But like, it just puts more emphasis on having the right pieces around him too. And so, like, that, I do think the fact that Acuff was so good for Arkansas was because they had a good collection of talent around him too. And so, like, there does need to be that foundation that you can stick Jason Crowe Jr. on, say, all right, go be great with all of this that is at your disposal.
Who they need to find is their Mark Mitchell. Like, that level of a transfer. They need to find a major impact transfer that, to your point, in any other realm would be the unquestioned leader and best player on the team. But find a guy with some size that can have an impact like Mark Mitchell did. And look, I don't know what the budget is. I don't know if that's realistic. I don't think they're getting Jason Crowe Jr. or Toni Bryant for free here. But like, have one transfer that wows us, and I think we would start to see the roster come together pretty quick. And whichever position you identify as being the most important, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that player is someone you can get to sign at that position group. Would love a big, would love a point guard. Like, we've talked through what the needs are. But if you can get like one splashy type of transfer to pair with Jason Crowe and the incumbents and the guys that are coming back that you want to see development from, I think that could be, you'd have something there.
Yeah, because the front court scoring is non-existent now. Like, from what you're bringing back, like, you need,
which is fine. We got to rebuild. That's everybody. But
yeah. But more production, I think, needs to be made up in the front court, and maybe even necessarily the back court, based on who we know is leaving right now. So, like, there's still a lot of question marks as to how is Mizzou going to replace what Sean Phillips brought them, and also Mark Mitchell. Like that yesterday, my point was, look, you can find someone that plays either Mark Mitchell's spot or Sean Phillips's spot. Doesn't matter. That guy needs to be a scoring threat. Like you can't have everyone spread out and try to fill in the space with slashing and everything like that, because I think they tried that in the first couple of years and came back to bite them a little bit under Dennis Gates. So for me, I'm looking for, okay, a big in the portal that can score. And whether they're the lanky type that Mark Mitchell was that plays a 4 more so than a 5, whatever. But it needs to balance everything out. And then, like, that does kind of open up a little bit more of what your team is as a foundation. And then it's just fill in a spot. Get a point guard that you can trust. Like a veteran guy, not going to make mistakes. A shooter or two that you can slot for 35% on the season and be good at least there. So it's about, I think, what they can find for size that then allows Jason Crowe to operate the way that we can expect him to. But again, expectations for him is sky high. Like, I mean, it should be, because that is how players before him have fared. Now for Toni Bryant, I mean, I don't think he is the 1-for-1 Mark Mitchell replacement.
No.
Maybe someday he is, but not right now. He was 27th on those rankings for 24/7 Sports. Just as a reference, last couple of years, Billy Richmond was there 2 years ago for Arkansas. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like in year one, I can't remember what he was year one, but year two was a step forward. And so like that'd be what you're looking for Toni Bryant a year afterwards. For 2025, number 27 on the list was Malachi Moreno for Kentucky. Another solid player. Wasn't
contributors.
He's contributor. Like, I think you can expect that he's a contributor, but if you're asking him to be Mark Mitchell, that's too much. I think
you need to get that guy in the portal at the Mark Mitchell position, or as you said, if it's your 5, believe me, I'm not going to turn down a Mark Mitchell caliber 5. I would be over the moon if they could come up with that. You go out and you get a legitimate plug and play guy, and then if Toni Bryant impresses you like freshmen all across the country do each and every year, like, it's recruiting rankings are one thing, but you get a guy on campus and you get him into practice and you get him in the gym and you go, oh, this guy's going to contribute for us, or he's not, right? Or he's a little bit raw. We'll see which kind of column that Toni Bryant falls into. But I think you build around not needing Toni Bryant to be that from day one. But if he is, well, I'm feeling a lot better about the front court. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think I'm reminded of a couple of years ago when I was so excited about all 5 of the 4 stars coming in, and really none of them made an impact as freshmen. But again, this group, I think, is guys that are a little bit higher ranked and higher expectations. Doesn't mean, though, that there can't still be some rawness to those players. I would just like to think that year one, Bryant is contributing. I don't need him to be a starter, I don't think, Andy. I don't necessarily need him to be a focal point in the way that I needed from Jason Crowe, if that makes sense.
No, I would not predict, if things go well in the portal, I would not predict that Toni Bryant starts. In fact, if Toni Bryant is starting, then I would say you did not get enough in the portal.
Or he blew you away. And you just said, this guy's actually also generational, and you just wait till you see him. That's possible, but not likely.
Yeah, I'll leave that up within the realm of possibility. But the way that he could develop is maybe a little bit longer of a process than a Crowe who's ready now. Like when you have,
I think that's right.
43 points a game in high school. Come on. Like,
it's a good number.
It's way up there. So like that's what you can reasonably expect. The moon and stars potentially for Jason Crowe, and for Toni Bryant, that you can develop him into like it. And look, I know that the portal is probably going to be enticing for a guy like him if he continues to progress year in and year out. Like, sure. Or maybe the NBA comes calling early if he really starts to ramp up. I don't know, but for a guy like him, your hope is that you can keep him around to see that development all the way through. I'll say this. They're keeping Trent Pierce around for that exact same timeline. Like you can say all you want that, well, nobody stays in at their same school anymore. Dennis Gates does at least have one guy that he has brought in as a recruit and is going to be finishing out his career all the way through at Mizzou in Trent Pierce. So he has at least one that is possible in doing that. Not saying he's going to do that for every single guy. Clearly he hasn't. No. But it's still possible. It's within that realm of possibility too.
Yeah, and I kind of think here's not maybe a play style comparison, but just like a career arc comparison of Trent Pierce, where there are some things we really like, but it's kind of there sometimes, it's not other times. We're still waiting for that consistent development. I feel like he's kind of a rung above where we found and where we left Aiden Shaw when he ended up departing in the portal as a guy who we had high hopes for, but it was like we didn't quite get to that rung on the ladder where they could look at this coming year and say, like, yeah, Aiden Shaw, we're going to give him the minutes. I kind of like that with Trent Pierce. Him staying tells me, like, yeah, we think we're going to be able to get you there, Trent. You work with us, we'll work with you, but let's make this happen here. That's exciting to me that's still a worthy pursuit in the mind of the coaching staff. And for Trent Pierce, that he believes he can do it here as well, that this is the right place for him to get there. Who knows how it'll go? Could go the way of Anthony Robinson, and we go, oh, man, not quite. Couldn't get it done. But Trent Pierce, I talked about it yesterday, but I'm glad that that's a guy that they're at least hanging their hat on and bringing him back.
No, that was a key guy because you knew he was going to be a starter next year. Knew it 100% if he was back with this team, that he slotted in as one of your starting five. And then you add in Jason Crowe Jr., ideally one of T.O. Barrett and Anthony Robinson. We'll see if that ends up being the case. But you can also add a starter from the portal there. But like that's at least that's at most 3 spots accounted for already before you have brought in a single transfer yet, which is a good starting point. There is still some depth that needs to be built up. But for me, I think the fact that Mizzou has got 2 recruits that you get really excited about. And look, don't forget about Aiden Chronister. Like, again, less likely that he steps in right away and is a contributor. But if I had reasonable expectations for him, like, hey, in non-conference play, have some impressive flashes.
Take some shots. Take some threes.
Make some shots. Like, maybe expect that as conference play rolls along, you're probably not going to be turned to as much. But down the line, if he stays with it and turns into – I know we're not going to like the comparison right now, but Jacob Cruz, like if he turns into Jacob Cruz, and has like saying what Jacob Cruz was, and became a very solid shooter. I know he finished terribly. I get that, but that is what you're hoping that he can develop into at the very least down the line.
I was actually going to say, when it comes to like rebuilding the depth of the roster, you're replacing guys like Cruz and hoping in, Sebastian Mack, and like hoping to be able to upgrade some of those positions. And then even maybe in addition to doing well when it comes to the starters, feel good about your depth. And like, I'm not going to bag on Cruz any more than we already could, but the minutes were not the most efficient that we've ever seen played at Mizzou, especially down the stretch. But he was still playing a lot of minutes. And I think when you look at a number of guys on the floor at the same time who flatly were not scoring threats by the end of it, that's kind of what contributed to the loss and the short stay in March.
So we'll see. Maybe I'll hope that he turns into Trent Pierce a little bit later.
I would prefer you say a different name. And so, yes, I'm good. I'm better with that than...
We don't like the name right now because he finished terribly. Like he was for a stretch very, very good from shooting for 3 for what he was brought in to do.
This morning, an update on the Little Tykes hoop in the living room. This morning, my son Gabe, pulled up from deep and said, Jacob Cruz. And then he threw it over the Little Tykes hoop. I was like, yeah, that's about right.
No, he nailed it.
No, he did make 2 more as Jacob Cruz that morning, but the first one sailed it 2 feet over the little Tykes hoop and hit the front window of our house. So that's my whole commentary. I've got nothing more to add to that. Take it as you will.
He needed to get his bearings. He just needed to see it go through a couple times, and then he was good.
I got a good laugh out of my father-in-law because I kind of said, yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. And he chuckled. So I was proud of that one.
KTGR, give us a call or a text. What are your reasonable expectations for Jason Crowe and Toni Bryant, who you'll see in the McDonald's All-American game tonight, representing Mizzou as they get set to join the Tigers this next season? Call or text us at 875-KTGR. What are our thoughts on the ABS system so far as Brendan drinks a water bottle? We'll get to that next on The Big Show.
The best subscriptions in life are free. Subscribe to KTGR on YouTube to watch The Big Show and other exclusive content. YouTube.com/@KTGR Sports.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds. And we feel great.
Hypnosis only $59.99. Thursday, April 23rd at the Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. Or Saturday, April 25th at the Courtyard by Marriott in Columbia. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Shangri-La Dispensaries has always been there for your medicinal and recreational needs. Now they need your vote in Best of Columbia 2026. Voting is open for Inside Columbia's Best of Columbia, and Shangri-La is up for Best Dispensary. You can vote for Shangri-La once a day between now and April 12th. Just go to InsideColumbia.net. Shangri-La would like to thank all their loyal patients and customers for letting them be there for your medicinal and recreational needs. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering, and with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up to 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
Doors have 2 jobs, open and close. Pretty simple. And windows? They're supposed to be clear, not foggy. And they should open and close too. This is Silas Coons with Coons Glass. If you've got doors or windows that are slacking on the job, call us for service work. With 15 service trucks, Coons Glass is the clear choice for commercial or residential. CoonsGlass.com.
Coons Glass, you can see through it, we do it.
Progressive's Home Quote Explorer helps you easily find and buy the right coverage for you. It's everything you've always wanted. Well, I mean, as far as a website that lets you shop, quote, and buy insurance in one place. But hey, maybe that is everything you've always wanted. Yeah, people have different types of dreams. And if all you've ever been searching for is a website that helps you choose home insurance rates and coverage, boy, do we have great news about Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coons.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the Big Show on KTGR.
Should be exciting to see guys like Jason Crowe and Toni Bryant take on the other best recruits in the McDonald's All-American game tonight. And honestly, Mizzou just likes the advertising of the fact that they got 2 of the guys. That's pretty good. So what do you reasonably expect out of those players for year 1 in a Mizzou uniform? And for Jason Crowe, if all goes well, probably the only year that he's in a Mizzou uniform. He's made it clear, and his dad has made it clear, Jason Crowe Sr., that, hey, he's preparing for the NBA. And they're going to college because, like, that is the rule. But, hey, that's all right. That's what has to happen. It has to happen that way sometimes. All the time, in fact. But for Toni Bryant, this could be year 1 of something that develops later. So tell us what you think he should be the first year. 875-KTGR. Brendan's with us from Busch Stadium. ABS so far has been so fun. I mean,
good.
It's so much fun. I don't understand people that are curmudgeon-y about it. Which luckily I haven't.
What are people saying? I was going to say, I've not seen any of that so far.
Well, the fact that it maybe changes too much of how they view like the whole process of how a ball or strike should be called, and like we have to wait for it. Like that's maybe the biggest complaint that I've heard, and I don't even think that's big of a complaint. I seriously have no issues whatsoever with how it's gone. It has been a quick process. We're not waiting like at a monitor a bunch, stopping the game for an out of bounds play in basketball. It's like tennis. It is as quick as the tennis review. Like, hey, is it in or out? Is it in the strike zone or out? Like, it's been great.
Yeah, I think it's been great. And there's like an entertainment value to it. Ollie Marmol said it's a value add because of the way that it is structured, where the fans are now looking onto the board. We've seen the call. We all saw the play live. We all have an opinion on whether or not the challenge, is a good one, bad one. We're all about to find out together. And then you can kind of, cheer, celebrate, or boo, or whatever you want to do. It's like another little thing within the game, which I actually think is kind of fun.
I was so tickled by the first umpire who was working the Yankees-Giants game, and he was the first one to be challenged. I think he called a strike on a hitter, and he didn't think it was a strike. And right away, he was proved to be right, the umpire, that the call was confirmed, and he immediately turned to the mic and said, "Call is confirmed." Like, almost like a tone of like, yeah, I knew that I was going to be the first guy to be checked, but you know what?
Got you.
Like, I even like it for the umpire sometimes, because sometimes they get to show off and say, like, oh, you didn't think so? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Check the tape. I was right. So it's not even just for the players' benefit. I think it's also for the umpires.
But then there's the umpires that are very much not going to benefit from it, because it's going to feel like the longest day of your job ever when you get 6 or 8 of them wrong. And it's just like, be better is going to be the challenge to those umpires. So we'll see if that allows guys to lock in when they're struggling behind the plate, or if it, do we all learn the strike zone a little bit better as a result, where guys, as time goes along, players and umpires alike, will be a little bit more on the money when it comes to being able to identify the misses, as it were.
We also don't get the unnecessary ejections, like, because that was a huge problem. Like, if a guy like Bryce Harper is upset with a call early on and he lets the umpire know about it because it was that bad, and he gets thrown out for being upset about it, or a manager gets thrown out for being upset about it, or a manager gets thrown out when he wasn't even saying anything from the dugout, because you can't argue balls and strikes. Like, now,
but somebody was right.
Everybody can just they can have a system to challenge the balls and strikes if they don't like it, so they no longer have to argue it. It's just, although I did see that there was one ejection that resulted from it. Did you see it?
I was gonna say, unless you're Derek Shelton, you can apparently still be ejected. And Ryan Helsley was at the center of it all. The former Cardinal challenges, which we haven't seen pitchers do as often. It's usually the batter or the catcher.
But Helsley was right.
Ryan Helsley. He was right. But the problem Shelton, I guess, thought he didn't request it quickly enough, which I don't agree with Shelton about. But he kind of bounded off the mound. Like, he did it right away. So I don't really know what he was even arguing.
No,
but I kind of like it.
What happened was that the umpire didn't see Ryan Helsley's first hat tap, I think was what happened when I look at the video. And Helsley's making sure, like, okay, yeah, I did it already. Look at me. So part of the learning process, I'm sure, of umpires in a new world for them, like, hey, they have to be in the mode of, okay, I need to look everywhere and see if anybody is tapping their head, because they have to do it immediately and I have to recognize it immediately. So like that's also part of the learning curve here. Yeah, but Derek Shelton still got ejected because he was arguing the process.
I love the broadcaster on that game, by the way, kind of leaning into it and said, "You can't argue with the robots." I thought that was fun.
That guy's really good. The Orioles broadcast team is excellent. So Kevin Brown, that's his name. Kevin Brown, excellent broadcaster. He
leaned in. I really appreciated that.
Yeah. ABS has been awesome. We at least think so far. If you disagree, let us know. 875-KTGR, call or text, or leave a comment on YouTube and on Facebook. Up next, Brendan, we'll see you. Enjoy Busch Stadium. We'll catch you later.
See you tomorrow.
All that. In the meantime, we're going to hear from Shannon Welker of Mizzou Gymnastics as he previews his team getting ready for the NCAA Regionals this weekend. Next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Mizzou baseball underway now against Kansas, and right now the Jayhawks have a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the third inning. Tigers have a couple of runners on trying to get their first runs of the game. Mizzou trying to avenge an earlier loss from Kansas 2 weeks ago. Tigers also coming off a series sweep at the hands of Texas A&M this past weekend. Again, 4-0 Kansas in Mizzou baseball right now. You can hear it on the KTGR app. Mizzou softball is also underway in their game against Missouri State. Mizzou has a 4-0 lead over the Bears in Springfield right now, looking to win their 13th game in their last 15. The Cardinals get set to take on the Mets at Busch Stadium tonight, 6:45 first pitch. Turn your radio on to KTGR in about 10 minutes to hear coverage. If you want to hear the rest of our show, tune in on the KTGR app or on YouTube and on Facebook. Andre Palante gets the start against the Mets tonight. The Royals won 3-1 yesterday in their home opener against the Twins. They're off today. They'll play the Twins tomorrow and Thursday to finish the series. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast with the Boone County Office of Emergency Management. Be Boone County ready. Make a plan, stay informed, and sign up for Smart 911 emergency alerts.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking mostly cloudy skies and a chance for scattered showers and storms this evening. Some of those could bring small hail, especially late this evening. Temperatures tomorrow morning starting out in the mid-50s. We'll have isolated scattered showers and storms possible throughout the day with highs in the 70s. And then we're going to see more widespread rain and storms by tomorrow night. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
On Simmons Field,
swinging a ground ball, hit past third and the left. That's a base hit.
And across the SEC,
fastball, swing and a miss. He struck him out.
The Tigers are ready to roar.
There it goes, long drive, deep right field. That is gone.
This is your radio home for Mizzou baseball.
The Tigers win this one in a walk-off here in the bottom of the ninth inning.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. Now is the time, the springtime, to think about tree pruning, to think about the structural strength of your trees. This is the time to think about it, because once the summer rolls along and you try to do that work, it can be damaging to the trees. So now, if you get tree pruning done, they can grow back stronger as the months roll along. And there is one place and one guy that I trust with all of my tree needs, and that's Eric and his team over at Advanced Tree Solutions. They serve Columbia, Jefferson City, and Fulton. If you call him up, he'll be there on time. He'll take care of your trees. He'll assess what needs to be done, give you a fair and honest price, and the work is going to be top-notch. It'll take care of all of your worries about how your trees are doing. Let Eric and his team care for your trees. At Advanced Tree Solutions, go and check out their full range of services, advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. Definitely during this time of year, make sure to get tree pruning done before the summertime. Go to advancedtreesolutionsllc.com.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sticklin McDonald.
And I'm Charlie Sticklin with the Sticklin & Sticklin Law Firm.
And I'm Mizzou Softball's Natalie Touche. At Sticklin & Sticklin, all we do is personal injury.
We've earned millions for our clients since 1991.
On the diamond, I trust my team. Off the diamond, I trust Sticklin & Sticklin. Don't let the insurance companies strike you out. Let Sticklin & Sticklin go to bat for you. Sticklin & Sticklin, it's a home run.
Summer is coming. Are you ready? This is Michael Agnew at API Project Fitness. Now is the time to get moving. For a limited time, try our gym and all of our classes, expert coaching for just $1 for your first month. That's right, full access, real results, and a community that pushes you to be your very best, all for just $1. No pressure, no excuses, just progress. Stop waiting and start today for just $1. Find out more at apiprojectfitness.com.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
Oh my, what are you waiting for? Lose the weight or stop smoking with Hypnosis Guaranteed, only $59.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, and stress eating. That's right, Hypnosis, Thursday, April 23rd at the Capitol Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Jefferson City. Weight loss hypnosis, 5:30 p.m., stop smoking hypnosis, 8 p.m. And Saturday, April 25th at the Courtyard by Marriott Hotel in Columbia, weight loss hypnosis, 11 a.m., stop smoking hypnosis, 2 p.m. Register markpatrickseminars.com.
What happens when a chef, 2 pharmacists, and a financial analyst walk into a bar? They buy it. And then they tell people from all walks of life to come enjoy it with them. Big flavors, bigger burgers, local brews, handcrafted drinks, and a game of pool or two. See, billiards was built by people like you. A teacher, a receptionist, and a cashier walk into billiards. What happens next is up to you.
Looking on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
Call your shot at billiardsonbroadway.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
We're back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy Humphrey here. This weekend, a big one for Mizzou Gymnastics as they start out NCAA regional competition. The Tigers are the 2 seed in their regional, which will be in Lexington. They're the number 8 overall seed in the bracket this year and looking to make another run to the NCAA championships, just like they did a season ago where they finished 3rd overall. And here to talk with us about it, the head coach of Mizzou Gymnastics, Shannon Welker, on the KTGR hotline. So, Coach, to see your name, where you were slotted, and how you now shape yourselves up against the rest of your competition that'll be around you coming up on Friday and hopefully again on Sunday. How did you kind of see it laying out in your eyes as you saw your group slotted into the Lexington Regional?
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, this is the 2nd straight year we've been a 2 seed. I think we went in the number 7 seed overall in the 2 seed last year, and we're going in very similarly this year, just at the number 8 spot. And I think it's a good grouping for us. It's like a mini SEC championship, quite honestly, with the top 4 seeds obviously all coming from the SEC. So we're very familiar with those teams. But I think we've had a lot of success against many of those teams, that are seeded. And travel proximity is about as close as you could get for us in regards to where the other regionals are. So we're excited about it, and I think our fans are going to travel well and really help us propel us, hopefully, to a return trip to NCAA championship.
Certainly has. When you look at what your team has done over the last month or so, getting prepared for this spot and trying to improve your ranking as much as possible so that the committee looks at that and puts you in the place that you deserve to be. How did you see your group kind of prepare for what's to come here very soon by using their last few competitions to get ready for now?
Well, we've talked about kind of from the beginning of the season to the end. I've seen a lot of just steady development right there. Look, we opened the year 0-3 in SEC play, which was not ideal. But, of course, we were going up against the top 3 teams in the country every weekend. And then we turned around we started 0-3 and we turned it around and went 5-1 down the stretch in SEC play, which was awesome. So I think that tells you a little bit about the direction and the trajectory of what's happening right now, that we're getting better. We've got a little bit of a younger team this year, and sometimes it takes them a little time to hit their true stride, but I definitely think that we've continued to do that, and I'm excited to take what I think is going to be another step for us this weekend.
Shannon Welker, Mizzou gymnastics coach, with us here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app, ahead of the NCAA regionals this weekend. You had a couple of WCGA regular season All-Americans announced early this week. Addison Lawrence on beam, first-team All-American, and then a freshman for you, Kamara Eccles, with her excellent performances on bars this year, is a second-team All-American there. To have those two in that spot, just to again, kind of solidify what you have been building here. But what have you seen out of those two that's been most impressive as they've gone throughout their seasons?
Yeah, to get a regular season All-American, as we've seen in a lot of other sports, that's consistent excellence throughout the season. That's not just one time. They are doing it all year, week in and week out for 14 weeks or whatever the season is right there. And so for, Addie Lawrence, really excited for her. She was a second team All-American on beam last year. And so for her to go level up a little bit and go first team this year on her senior year and final year of gymnastics, really good. And she's so deserving of it, has been really solid in that spot right there. Kamara Eccles, that's impressive. To do that as a freshman in this conference is impressive. I think the last time we had somebody as a freshman get an All-American award, that was somebody that was pretty good for us and was a former national champion, and that was Helen Hu. So I think that says a lot about what Kamara is doing and what her future holds. She is definitely going to be a star, if not already, for Mizzou gymnastics.
Well, when you see her and then you see some of your other younger gymnasts stepping up in some of these roles down the line, what do you kind of look for when you identify, okay, who works best in these spots? And certainly you saw that with Eccles, with how talented she was, but how does that process look for them as they enter that role? But then when they get that early success, they want to keep taking steps forward each and every year. So how do you see that progression in certain gymnasts?
Yeah, there's definitely, you have to evaluate a little bit of how much you put on their plate and what, and how much success that they can handle, at that point in time, or opportunities. And Kamara, definitely, I anticipate we will see her in the all-around next year, so all 4 events. And she's probably good enough to do it this year, but you do have to kind of pace them a little bit and put them in situations where they're most likely going to be successful, as we do with our other younger, freshmen and sophomore as well. And then you just add to it a little bit every year and a little more as they develop and they develop, mature in whatever ways, that helps them too. And so I think you just have to pace them, like we said, a little bit there. But Kamara's, man, she's impressive. And so are some of our other younger talent. We've got a lot. I would say probably about half of our spots in our lineup, if I'm not mistaken, are probably sophomores and below. And so that is, promising, especially, not only they're doing great this year, but for the years to come.
Shannon Welker, Mizzou gymnastics coach, here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. And also with the several gymnasts that got the All-SEC honors, which, not all the way to All-American, but when you're talking about the SEC, that's about as tough as it gets. And so when you get recognition from that conference, it certainly means a whole lot too. And Hannah Horton collecting the Specialist of the Year award for the 3rd straight year. You might as well just put your name on that trophy somewhere. It just comes back to Columbia every single season, no matter who might be winning it. But for Horton and her performances on vault this year, just how have you seen her really dominate that event at times and again, earning that type of recognition?
another person that has continued to get better every year since she's been in our program. And, she's so gifted. She's an incredible athlete. Again, same thing we were just talking about a little bit with Kamara. You just have to develop a little bit at a time and understand how much they can handle kind of moving forward. And Hannah has really bought into that process and really has become a better and better competitor and more confident. And I think that was the key right there. It's just, you got to understand where their confidence level is. And as their confidence grows, you can give them more and more opportunities to be successful. But really proud of Hannah. She's done a great job and really you can see the belief in herself and that kind of spreads to our team as well. So excited that award came back to us, and we'll go after it again, see if we can make it 4 straight years.
There you go. That's the goal every single time, and I'm sure. But not only her, but 9 of her teammates also getting some type of all-SEC recognition, which led the conference. No other team had more gymnasts on those lists. What does that mean to your group to have such wealth of talent at so many other disciplines that you can fill out a lineup pretty easily each time?
Yeah, well, it's a team sport, right? And so I think when you have that many people that are competing at that high a level, then, one or two people don't feel like they have to carry the entire burden, of our success right there. And I think we can spread that around. So if somebody's a little off that day, hey, somebody else can pick up the slack and make sure that we're competing at a high level, because it's hard to do week in and week out. Somebody's typically going to have a little bit of an off day, but if you have 9 or 10 other people that are at that level, it's not as detrimental to our success.
Shannon Welker, Mizzou gymnastics coach here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. So again, Mizzou gymnastics, number 8 overall seed in the NCAA championships and the 2 seed in their regional. And they'll get teams such as Arkansas and North Carolina State in their regional, along with another one there, I believe Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. But to have, again, it's starting this weekend, and obviously there are certain gymnasts in your group that are familiar with what this takes, and to be at this spot in the NCAA regionals, to be advancing each and every time, how then does the mentality change for the group as you get to the spot where you're ultimately wanting to be?
Yeah, well, we prepare for this, from the summer. This team was built, and our success right now, and opportunity for success was built, starting in June, quite honestly. So this has happened 7 or 8 months ago that we've been preparing for this moment. So I think our mentality really hasn't changed a lot from then. We talk about, listen, if it's important in April, it's got to be important in June and July, right? It's got to be important in the summer. And so that's kind of the mentality we've carried with us the whole way. So fortunate for us, I really don't think this changes much of our mentality. Now, we know there's more on the line right here, right? And so, but I think with that kind of continued kind of mindset, it really just puts them in a little more at ease than maybe some other teams, quite honestly.
I know that you guys obviously set the goal of you want to shoot as high as possible. Is that in fact like just going all the way to the championship meet once again, like you did last year?
Well, I think, we take care, obviously we're going to, let a coach speak here, but we're going to take care of one competition at a time. We got to get done on Friday, and there's some good teams in there. Arkansas is a good team. We've seen them a couple of times. NC State's a good team. They're not to be taken lightly, so we got to take care of day one. And then we'll take care of obviously the second day, which is Sunday, and on there. But I do think that if this team can take another step, and we're going to need to take another step in development, I do think we put ourselves in a position to get back to a Final Four.
And we'll see that road begin coming up for Mizzou gymnastics coming up this weekend. So again, from here on out, it's all about finishing in the top 2 of each one of these quads. Mizzou gymnastics going to start out play on Friday in Lexington, and they'll have Arkansas, North Carolina State, and Maryland in their first quad. If they advance to Sunday, they could be meeting up most likely with the likes of Oklahoma and some other schools in that mix for a chance to advance to the NCAA championships in Fort Worth a little bit later. Coach Shannon Welker of Mizzou Gymnastics, joining us here on The Big Show. Thanks so much for taking the time today, Coach. Congratulations on a great season so far, and good luck in Lexington this weekend.
Hey, appreciate you guys, and MIZ.
ZOU, it's The Big Show on KTGR and the KTGR app. So excited for Mizzou Gymnastics to start regional play this weekend, and we thank you for joining us today. A reminder to flip on the KTGR app right now to hear Mizzou baseball taking on Kansas. That is underway at Taylor Stadium as we speak. You can also turn your radio on to hear Cardinals coverage underway as they take on the Mets at Busch Stadium. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. He's Brendan. I'm Andy. We're done for now.